Hello everybody and welcome to Star Wars on High. Thank you for stopping by. We are back with my review of the Ahsoka finale. All this time of waiting and it's over in the blink of an eye. Just insane as always. And the finale was very different from what I was expecting, and it's probably my own fault if I had to guess. I spent a majority of this season speculating on what would happen between everyone. I figured someone had to die, and then we had to wrap up Baylan and Shin's story in order to focus on Thrawn for the Mandoverse movie. I also was just thinking that Ahsoka would only be one season long, but in reality none of that is true and none of that needed to happen. As a result, I found the finale to be a little lackluster for myself, but it wasn't a bad episode, it just wasn't a good finale. There were plenty of things that I liked, but I just don't feel like the payoff was all that great. We open up with Thrawn preparing to enter the Eye of Sion and make his way back to the main galaxy, but he will not let Ahsoka stand in his way. He immediately dispatches 2 TIE fighters to take care of the Jedi in hopes that it will be enough. Afterwards, Morgan is blessed with the gift of shadows and is transformed. We've seen this before in the Clone Wars, but getting to see it in live action is always just so cool. But now Thrawn has another witch to worry about. Meanwhile, Ezra is hard at work building himself a new lightsaber with the help of Hu Yang, which comes out as a really beautiful scene. Ezra learns about Hu Yang and how he helped Kanan build his own lightsaber, and is able to find parts to create a new saber that's a nice mix between his own and Kanan's. It's really nice to see, and I just know that means a Black Series version will be coming out before too long. We also get to learn that Ahsoka feared what Sabine would do with her training. After the Purge of Mandalore, Ahsoka thought Sabine may try to take revenge, and as a result, Ahsoka pushed her away. The party is broken up by Thrawn's TIE pursuit, damaging the Jedi Starfighter, but in an attempt to take them out, Sabine ends up driving the ship right into the ground, which of course is going to bring bigger issues for their chances of getting home. We still can't give up though, so they mount the Howlers and make haste towards the Night Sisters tower, but not without Thrawn ordering an orbital strike on the planet, blowing up all of the surrounding area as they barely dive through the front gate, being met by obstacle number 2, the Night Troopers. Now this fight is pretty fun, the choreography is just okay, it's nothing special, but I'm more intrigued with the Great Mother's spell that reanimates the Night Troopers into legitimate Death Troopers. The music was creepy and their movements are worse, but they just keep coming, and it brought me right back to the Death Troopers novel. But with Ahsoka, Ezra, and Sabine making their way up the stairs, Thrawn fears they may be able to get on board, so Thrawn requests that Morgan stay to give them more time. But for the Empire, to which Morgan replies with for Dathomir. There is some tension here, and it may get ugly between Thrawn and the Great Mothers, but Morgan has to deal with Ahsoka first before Thrawn. Ahsoka asks Sabine and Ezra to go on ahead so they can stop Thrawn. They make it to the top of the tower to see the Star Destroyer pulling away. They have to be on board. It's the only way to ensure they can escape to stop Thrawn. But Death Troopers will be enough to slow them down. Real Death Troopers, might I add. And it kind of points out a theory I had, where these troopers were probably dead and have been continuously reanimated because they look pretty gross and pretty terrifying. This is a big moment though, as Sabine is pinned against a pillar. She reaches out for her lightsaber and unlocks her potential, bringing the lightsaber to her hand to take out the trooper in a pretty extreme way. Meanwhile, Morgan and Ahsoka battle it out, and it's such a great fight, and it left me feeling very concerned the whole time. I felt like Morgan might pull some stunt and win the fight, but of course, Ahsoka manages to pull out the win with a swift end to Morgan Elsbeth. There's still a problem though, the Star Destroyer. It's too far to get on board, and jumping isn't really an option, but Sabine has to make it work. She just tells Ezra to jump, and then that she would use the Force to push him the rest of the way. It's about full-on trust. Both of them know how this will end if Sabine doesn't come through, but with full focus on what she wants, she uses the Force and is able to push Ezra the rest of the way, climbing his way into the hangar. It only keeps getting more complicated, as now Ezra was also supposed to pull Sabine across, but she's not coming. She chose to stay behind and fight off the rest of the Night Troopers with Ahsoka, which sadly makes sense. Sabine's entire mission was getting Ezra home. It never occurred to her to go back. She just wanted to bring Ezra home, and she did. And then my problems pretty much come with the episode wrapping up. Ezra steals the shuttle out of Thrawn's hangar and docks with the New Republic and reunites with Hera, but I felt no emotion to this. I was expecting hugging and tears and sobbing and joy, but it was just a timid, "Hi Hera, I'm home." Mentally, it's just not connecting with me for some reason. Thrawn's first move is to head straight to Dathomir. I assume to offload the Great Mothers and the cargo they've loaded, but for what purpose, that remains a mystery. Shin is left with the rest of the nomads, and it looks as if she's going to become their leader of this clan and probably wage war against Sabine and Ahsoka. But I'm still not even sure if she knows they're still on Peridia. And then we also get this shot of Baylan standing on the hand of a massive mountainside statue of the Father, which is two shots directly out of Lord of the Rings. First, the massive statues from the Fellowship, and then this shot of Sauron returning to Mordor from Rings of Power. But I do think that this is the coolest and saddest thing ever. This shot shows that we are leading to something ridiculously insane, and it very well could be Abeloth, or at least the return to Mortis in some way, as we've all seen from the comparisons online. But I'm just so sad that Baylan's story will continue without Ray Stevenson. Baylan is about to have one of the most interesting stories to come from Star Wars, and the fact that we won't see it with him really hurts. But I look forward to it regardless. Lastly, Sabine and Ahsoka are fitting in with the Noti, waiting to see what their next role in the galaxy will be, with Anakin watching from a distance. A very beautiful shot for sure, but now I wonder about the world between worlds. Anakin's Force Ghost looks very different here and older, so I wonder if Anakin in the world between worlds was a manifestation of the Force and not necessarily Anakin himself. And now he's just happy to see that the Force did exactly what it needed for her. Overall, a great episode, but not a great finale. I feel like nearly nothing was resolved and it all branched out in completely different directions, which tells me there will be a lot to come from this show, including the possibility for more seasons. I have several thoughts on this episode that I will most likely talk about on a later video, but what were your overall thoughts on the Ahsoka finale? Do you feel like it resolved enough for you? Did it feel like a true finale? And where would you like to see the story go next? Let us know all of your thoughts down in the comments below. As always, thank you to everyone who stuck around to this point in the video, and we hope to see you again very soon.